Okay, good evening. Right, so we'll do the communication skills one past papers. I'm not going to do any revision because it's not difficult subject. Okay, but remember, if you fail communication skills, you can't go to the level two. Right, simple as that. Uh, you, it's a enhancement subject, so therefore you can't fail and go to the next level. Right, so therefore just take it very seriously. Right, so let's straight away move on to the past papers. Right, I'll come from backward from 2021 because I'm planning to do 3 years of papers. Okay, because it's one hour papers. Why I'm doing it backward from 2021 forward because the exam is getting more and more difficult. So therefore, if we first do 2023 paper, that is the most difficult. So that is not a good sign for you guys anyway. So exam is getting tougher and tougher. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Don't relax. Okay? Don't relax. Right. So let me open. So therefore we start with 2021 paper because that is the sort of the easiest out of these three papers. Right. So you get about 25 questions each year, and each year so far multiple answers are allowed or multiple answers are correct. So therefore, just anyway, this year I don't know. Every time you read your paper, right? Because this year all of a sudden they will say only one answer, right? So then the moment you mark two answers, you get zero. Right. Right. Question number one. Which of the following statement is correct regarding handwriting and typing? Right. Every year there's one question, sometimes two questions on handwriting and typing. Touch typing helps you to type fast. Yes. So touch typing means you without looking at the keyboard, you just keep relying on the touch. Yes. Handwriting is not important in the age of computers. No, handwriting is still important because handwriting gives you the personality. It's so important for your studies because it has some uh, personal aspect, right? Emotional aspect, right? So therefore, we can't say it is not important. It's getting less important, but still we need it. Writing with pen and paper helps you to get rid of distractions of digital world and lets your ideas flow. Yes. So when we use pen and paper, it's good for aesthetic things, creative things, right? Otherwise, so digital world, yes, it's good for IT, programming, science, business, but for aesthetic things, artistic things, we prefer pen and paper, right? We say yes. Handwritten notes are legible than typed ones. So what is mean by legible? So legible means clear, right? I don't know exact meaning. If I can remember correct, it's sort of a clear. So usually handwritten notes are not clear, right? Typed notes are more clear, right? Let me double check. Actually, I can't 100% remember what is legible is. I think it's clear. In the exams, of course, you don't have this facility. Yeah, clear enough to read. Right. So usually handwritten notes are not clear. Right. For some people's handwritten are good, but type the things are always consistent. Okay. So therefore I'll say no because it's a than type ones. So type ones are more legible, clear to read. That is why for business official things we prefer typing. There is a high risk of typos. Typos means typing mistakes in handwritten notes. Yes, handwritten notes. There's a higher chance because in when you're typing, you have the spell checkers, grammar checkers, and all those things, right? So and also the examiner is sometimes very cunning. Sometimes he all of a sudden use correct, sometimes incorrect. So pay extra attention. Is it they asking correct or incorrect? So this is correct. So therefore I'll go for A, C, E. And remember this is communication skills. So therefore there can be opinionated answers. Your answer may not match with my answer. My answer may not match with examiner's answer. Not all the questions. Some questions are opinionated. This is not programming. This is not maths. This is not web development, right? This is subject. This is not science subject. This is humanities subject. Okay. So therefore, expect some conflicting situations. Okay. That is part and partial. That is why the passing mark is 40. Right. Right. So I'll go for A, C, and E. Yes, A, C, and E. Second one. So every year you get one question capitalization, one question punctuation. Sometimes two questions capitalization. Right. So just you will see the pattern. Right. Because I just brushed through the three papers. Select the sentence with correct capitalization. Correct. Usually capitalization questions are easier. Punctuation questions are more tougher. Okay. Right. So capitalization, right? They are looking for. The Prime Minister will address the Parliament. Now, this is a tough one. So sometimes, like Prime Minister, President, we use capital. But mostly that is when we say Prime Minister, say whoever, right? Prime Minister Harini. So, but when we just refer to Prime Minister, right? President, Minister, usually we don't need capitals because it's just a normal word. But okay, but it's not very consistent thing. Because this is just referring to as a prime minister, I'll say this is good enough. Okay. The teacher asks us to bring the following: a pencil, a ruler, comma. After comma, you don't need capital S, right? After comma, you don't need capital S, right? So therefore, I will not take that. C. My friend Nimal, okay, in capital, lives south from school. Now here we just don't need capital S. Right. So this is just relatively we say south of the school. But if you refer to as south, or අපි කියන්නේ දකුණ කියලා, දකුණේ මිනිස්සු කියලා, then we need capital. But if you use it as just direction, you don't need so. So this is just south of from the school. But if you say something like the people in the south, then we can go for S capital. Okay. So therefore I'll not go for that. And anyway, let's double check the answers. Okay. Uh, right. D. My birthday falls on Friday. F must be capital. The summit will be presided by, you can see President Rajapaksa. Earlier, just the Prime Minister. Now we can see President Rajapaksa. So then, just like we capital the name, we capital the post also. So those are mentioned in your note also. Okay? Note also. I'll go for E. I'll go for A and E. Okay, A and E. A is correct in B. What is mean by A is correct in B? Uh, yeah, this is a semicolon, right? Semicolon. That I'm also not very sure. Semicolon. After semicolon, should we use capital? Right? Sorry, this is colon, right? So let's double check. Actually, it's a good question. Right? I'm not also very sure. Let's search ChatGPT. Maybe it's mentioned in your note. After semicolon, sorry, after colon, should we use capital? Yeah, you can see it depends. Your guide, your styles. He says, uh, she had one goal, semicolon. They have started with capital. What follows is a complete sentence. If it is a complete sentence, they say start with capital. Okay. And again, there are confusions like American English and blah blah blah. Okay. Do not capitalize after colon if what follows is a fragment of a list, right? If it is a fragment of a list, like a list of items, they say don't capitalize. But if it is a complete sentence, I think that is a good point. Okay. Uh, right. So if it is a complete sentence, capitalize. Otherwise, if it is just a list of things, don't capitalize. I think that is a good rule. Okay. Right, full sentence, yes. But UK, there's another thing, right? But anyway, so UK English, they say, so that is what I told you that this is humanities, okay? So there's nothing like 5+2 like answers, okay? Right, anyway, it's a good question, right? So I'll go for maybe simple here, but definitely not some here, okay? Actually, I didn't see, so I didn't see this actually because before some, I should have noticed, right? Uh, right. So answer is A and E. Third one, select the sentence with correct punctuation. Now these are the real headaches, right? Real headaches. Okay, right. First one. So try just let's try to do our best because you don't have only these kind of questions, right? There are straightforward questions, but always punctuation question is very tough. They were in trouble, right? Full stop. However, they did not panic. Okay. Therefore, after therefore, usually we need a comma. Okay. You need a comma. So therefore, I will not go for A. I was born on Sunday, May 11, 1995. So usually I go for comma here. Sunday, May 11th. That comma means there's a pause. Sunday, we don't say Sunday, May 11th, right? Sunday, May 11th, 1995. Right? So therefore, I will not go for that one also. Right? C. I saw him running away, Fanny reported. Remember, the comma must be inside double quotes or single quotes. Right? Comma must be inside, not after. That is specifically mentioned in your note. Okay. Go through that note again and again because you must get a lot of clues from your UCSC note. So that looks okay because this is a proper name. Someone's name is capital. Anyway, they are asking us to check the punctuation. So that looks okay. Right. I am truly, this single quote is, oh, there is a connection, right? I am. So this is your double quote, right? I am truly shocked by your behavior. Exclamation, comma. Remember, if after exclamation, you don't go for stop any other punctuation because exclamation itself is a punctuation. So you don't go for full stops, comma, and so on after exclamation because exclamation is also a punctuation. You don't need two punctuations. So it's definitely it's directly mentioned in your note. Okay, directly mentioned in your note. So therefore, I will not go for that. Okay. In archaeology, shaping a piece of stone by shrinking it is known as napping. So this is okay, right? In archaeology, we pause. In archaeology, shaping a piece of stone by staking it is by stinking it is known as snapping. So here there's sort of a pause, but usually before is we don't use any punctuations, right? Usually, right? So therefore, this is just you want to highlight it, right? Napping, right? So that is fine. Napping. This is not a sentence. This is a word. So therefore, you don't need comma. And anyway, this is the end of this sentence.
So why is D wrong?
Which one? B. So usually after Sunday, you need a comma, right? I was born on Sunday, May 11th. I don't know.
D.
Huh? Is it, or do you think you don't need a comma there? I don't know. That is what my interpretation. Okay. Right. So he looks
No,
okay.
sir, D1.
D. So here you have the exclamation mark. So when you have exclamation mark, you don't need a comma because you don't need two punctuations. Even in the end of the statement also, you don't need the full stop after exclamation. So even when you stop a sentence, when you have exclamation, you don't have the full stop. So here exclamation is a punctuation. So then you don't use usually you don't use two punctuation marks. That is a rule in English. Okay, so therefore you don't need comma because you already have one punctuation mark.
Okay, sir.
Okay, just like at the end also you omit the full stop. right? So this looks okay, right? So then C and E. Yes, C and E. Right. Now these are somewhat easier questions, right? දැන් මැද හරිය තියෙනවා lazy ටිකක් conjunctions වගේ ටිකක් lazy. Which of the following is the most appropriate connective? Connective is connection word, like conjunction, that fill the blank in the text given below. You have apologized. We will not take any further actions against you. When you have apologized, since you have apologized, that looks okay. But you have apologized, no. Even though you have apologized, no, then it must be contradictory thing, right? So this is actually apologization. Apologizing is accepted. So even though means not accepted. However, you have apologized, no, that doesn't make sense, right? So when you have apologized, oh, it also doesn't make a lot of sense. So this is the best. Usually conjunction questions, I have noticed mostly one answer. Okay. Because it says most appropriate also, right? Most appropriate. Just pay attention to words. So when the question says most appropriate, almost all the time one answer, right? Best answer. So B. Fifth, which of the following is the most appropriate conjunction that fills the blank in the text given below? My father and mother went out. Okay. So the comma is there. Linda took the car and drove to the party. My father and mother went out. On the other hand, Linda took the car and drove to the party. Moreover, Linda took the car and drove to the party. Again, most appropriate, right? One answer. But Linda took the car and drove to the party. Meanwhile, Linda took the car and drove to the party. However, Linda took the car and drove to the party. Actually, this doesn't make much sense, right? Uh, so this says father and mother went out, right? So now the father and mother, so just try to get the context also, right? Meaning. So while your father and mother went out, so Linda took the car and drove to the party. So Linda went to the party, maybe without informing them. Okay. So moreover means usually further, adding some further things. So therefore, this also doesn't make much sense. Uh, on the other hand, means basically, but meanwhile. So these are the two possibilities for me. But I think the examiner took meanwhile because I just went through these answers in the morning. I can still remember maybe meanwhile. Okay. Uh, let's double check the answer. Yes, answer is D. Meanwhile, my father went out. Meanwhile means while during that time, Linda took the car and drove to the party. Okay. Right. And every year there's one or two question on passive voice. Right. So I did full English grammar revision in semester one. So therefore, I did not do that in semester two. But that is why I gave you the English, the semester one notes. Right, semester one notes means we did it for all the semester one badges because that is where you need to polish your English, not in semester two at the very beginning. So I have shared those with you, right? From very beginning. From very beginning, I had shared it with you. What are those? Right. English language skills supplementary. Okay, so I have even shared you the recordings from semester one because not everyone attended our semester one classes. Then especially go through anyway. I highly recommend you to go through all these uh, at least once. And this is all about voices. So make sure you go through the tensors and voices specially. Okay. If you are not very sure, of course, if you are now very comfortable, those who are in the semester one classes, definitely you must be now very comfortable because we took, I think, once about 1 hour discuss tensors, 1 hour we discuss voices. So those recordings are also there. Okay. Maybe those recordings are not 100% English. Maybe part of that is English and part of that is something else. But you just refer to the English part. Okay, right. So therefore, I'm not going to do how to convert into voices because these notes and supplementary things has been there from very beginning. Right. Right. So now let's see. That is why I have uploaded it, right? Because I know that these things they ask. Right. So I'm not going to explain how the passive voice is created because the notes are there. Semester one, we did those, right? Right. The kangaroo carried her baby in her pouch. So how do you make it passive voice? You take the object to the front, right? The baby, then this is simple past tense. Then be verb was, whether it's was or it is determined by the object, not by subject. Baby, singular. So therefore was. If it is babies, the babies were. Okay. The baby was carried out because past participle is also carried out by kangaroo in her pouch.
Out is not coming, sir.
Sorry? Sorry, not out, carried. Right. Was carried by kangaroo, right? Kangaroo in her pouch. Right. Which one is that? Not was been, not had been, not, yeah, was carried by kangaroo in her pouch, right? This looks okay. Not was being, that is past continuous tense. Not has been, that is past, that is present perfect, right? So that is why I asked you to, those who are not in the semester one classes, make sure you go through these sessions and especially the slides, okay? Slides. Right. So that answer is those are very easy questions, right? So if you know your tenses, if you know your voices, these are easy marks, guaranteed marks. So the answer is C. C. 7. Which of the following correctly converts the given sentence into active voice? Now you want to convert passive to active. Okay, passive to active. Were you recognized by her? Right. Were you recognized by her? So that means this is simple past tense. Don't change the tense. Did she recognize you, right? But not recognize. When you have did, already past nature is given, right? Did she recognize you? Right. So this is the answer. Active voice question. So you ask that question from the point of view of the subject because you is the object. ඔයාව තමයි recognize කරේ. එතකොට ඔයා කර්මය. But මෙයා තමයි වැඩේ කරපු එක නේ. එයාව ඉස්සරහට අරන් තමයි ප්‍රශ්න අහන්න ඕනේ. Right. We discussed that there, right? ඒක අවශ්‍ය කට්ටියට recordings ඇති notes තියෙනවා. Right. So therefore I'll go for E. E. 8. Which of the following is are correct regarding writing? The beginning and the conclusion of your writing should relate to the same goal. Yes. So we start with the goal and when we end with the goal. Same goal. The language and style of your work should cater to the expectation of the audience. Yes. So you must customize according to the audience. Maybe audience is really educated, not that educated, right? So they are kids, they are adults. So we need to adapt the style, writing style. Okay. This is all about writing. It is not important to understand the audience needs before you start writing. No, we need to understand. Before you start writing, you need to identify the purpose, obviously, right? Without purpose, how do you start writing? The purpose of your writing is not important, wrong. So I'll go for A, B, and D. A, B, and D. Which of the following should not be part of CV? Always there's at least one or two questions related to CV and cover letter. Always, every year. Okay. Which of the following? So you have the note, UCSC notes. Just again go through the checklist. What should be there? What are the good? What are the recommended things? What are the not to do things? Bad things to do in preparing CV, preparing your Cover letter. Okay. So we did discuss that in the class. You have the recordings. Which of the following should not be part of a CV? Employment history. It should be there. Religious affiliation. No one cares about your religious affiliation in professional life. Contact information, obviously. Otherwise, how can they contact you? Education, yes. Professional qualifications, yes. So remember, not be part of CV. So the answer is B. When should you send a cover letter? So the in general, you always send a cover letter, whether they ask or not. Usually, no one asks you to send a cover letter, but the best practice is don't just send attach CV attachment in a blank letter, right? Because these days we send CVs by email, right? No longer we send CVs by post, right? In IT field, right? IT field. Uh, so therefore, you always write a small, right? Just few sentence. Where did you got to know about this posting? Show that you are interested, and just stop. Finish it with "I'm looking forward to hear from you." Something like that. Very simple thing, right? හැලිනන් ලියන්න එපා හොඳේ. හැලි ලිව්වොත් එහෙම කියවන්නේ නැහැ. Uh, right. Only when the advertisement specifies specifically request it. No, no one is going to request a cover letter. Every time you send your CV, yes. When you need to list your salary requirements, no. You don't ask your salary requirements in your CV. That is when you are selected or when you are comfortable that you are in the middle or second interview or something. When you need to list references, no. References, you can put it in your CV. Right? These days, of course, references also people usually don't care because you don't put a reference, someone who is going to tell you bad thing about you, right? So therefore, it's just a joke, right? But anyway, still some conventional jobs request references. When you want to
Sir,
thank, sorry,
what is a cover letter?
cover letter means when you send a CV, say by email, you can't you don't just send your email attached to the people that email address, right? You need to just write small letter, right? Few sentences, email or physical letter. So that is called cover letter. Okay, is it clear?
Okay, sir.
Okay, otherwise they don't know, right?
Yes, sir.
What this is, right? HR people, right? At least mention what is the post to, right? Where did you get to know about this vacancy? And just encourage them to call you. Okay. Right. When you want to thank the employee for selecting, no, right? Cover letter is sent with your CV. Still, they haven't selected you. Right. So my answer is B. B. Yes. Which of the following statements is are correct regarding an active listener? And in your UCSC notes, they have even given you, I think, sample cover letter. Okay. Right. Which of the following statement is are correct regarding an active listener? Active listening means you listen actively. Body language, responses, show that you are interested, ask relevant questions. Okay. Right. Ask questions to clarify certain points. Yes. Voice the opinions respectively. Yes, you can voice your opinions, but make sure it's respectively because you are not in the center, right? Other guy, right? When he talks, right? I will say yes. Interrupt with counter arguments. No, that is not good. Unless you argue with someone or you talk to some of your friends, right? So this is in more business formal settings. Don't interrupt. At least wait, and when you get a chance, you can come up with your opinions. Simply takes in the words and offer no signs of hearing and understanding. That means you are like a dead body, right? You are like a dead body. So that is the worst thing that can happen. Then no one will talk to you. Always be judgmental. No, defer judgments. Right? Don't come to early judgments, especially when you talk to some stranger. That is terrible, right? Defer judgments until your discussion is over. Right. I'll go for A and B. Correct. Okay. Always double check the word. Correct. So I'll go for A and B. Yes. Which of the following needs are appropriate in small talk? Small talk means when you meet with some strange, especially stranger, right? Not a friend or someone, like in a bus stand while you are waiting for something, right? So you talk with strangers just to time passing, right? It's part of our social skills, right? Good morning and welcome to the local news. Let's now have a look at the news headlines. I don't think that is a good way to do that, right? So, good morning and welcome to the local news. Strangers, I'll say no. It looks like we are going to be here for a while, right? අපි මෙතන අපිට පොඩ්ඩක් මෙතන ඉන්න වෙයි වගේ නේද? ඒ කියන්නේ බස් එක පාරක් වෙයි. Bus is late or something like that, okay? Maybe something like that. Okay. That is a good actually that is a good way to start, right? Because you need to right start it. You need to start it. You can't just abruptly talk to someone, right? So this is a good point, right? So maybe we are going to stay for a while. Shall we have a bit of chat? Okay. So that's other person. If he or she is interested, he or she will give you a positive response. Otherwise, you just do your work. Okay. Right. I'll say yes. Did you hear about the hurricane in Tricomali? Right. Remember the good topics are weather, current affairs, sport, very neutral things. Right. Current affairs these days, the things happening. So what are the bad things? Politics, right? Negative things. So those are the bad things. Personal things, bad things, right? So these are good. Weather is very neutral thing. Sport is another neutral thing. Current festivals and those things are neutral things. Right? Did you hear about the hurricane in Trikomali? Yes, that's good one. Looking forward to the weekend. Is it good one? I don't know. That is little bit debatable one for me because stranger කෙනෙක් එක්ක කතා කරද්දී I don't know. It's a bit of a debate for me. Oh,
Sir,
you
it is
look
in the
so fed
UCS
up.
now, sir.
Are you struggling with some problems at home? So that is a negative. That is very negative thing, right?
Sir,
Yes.
looking forward to the weekend is in the UCS now.
Sorry.
Looking forward to the weekend is in the UCS now.
All right. So then we'll take it. Okay. So anyway, I told you that this is opinionated, right? So I can't remember each and every point in the UCSC note. So this subject. Yes, this subject there can be that such kind of a thing. That is why I told you that I am not going for communication skills subject to get 100 out of 100, right? Because this is humanity subject, right? If it is mentioned in the UCSC note, definitely it will be in your answer sheet also. Okay. Right. So this is definitely wrong answer. Sorry, a bad thing because don't talk about bad, right? මහත් වෙලා, ඔයා මහන්සි වෙලා වගේ. So that is terrible thing to do, right? Giving negative impressions to the people, right? We must be very positive. Or shut up, right? Keep your mouth shut. Or be very positive. Right? This is negative things, right? Right. So we'll go for B, C, and D. Right. Because I take D also because if it is mentioned there, I don't know whether this is a very good one. Right. But anyway, right. Because for a personal someone stranger, I still feel like this is not very good one. My personal opinion. Okay. Because it's just a stranger, right? හරිය නිකන් යත් එක්ක weekend එකේ යන්න කතා කරා වගේ නේද? This one. Right. So anyway, if it is there, definitely it will be in the answer. Right. 12. Yes, B, C, D. So you can take D also then, right? So again, go through the UCSC list. If it is in the list, definitely take it, right? Definitely take it, right? So I also went through the UCSC note, but I can't remember each and every point. So sometimes I remember, sometimes I don't remember, but I never had a memory about this. Okay, right? Anyway, if it is there, whether it's your opinion or not, take it. Okay, as simple as that. Right, 13. Which of the following statements is are correct regarding initiating an official phone call? Right? Official phone call, right? Correct. Know what you want out of the call. So that means for me it's something like know the objectives. Right? So yes, right. So you must, I don't know, the wordings are not very clear for me, but what I get is know what your objectives. Okay, know your objectives. So I'll say yes. Okay, I'll say yes. Research who you will be speaking to. Yes, if possible, yes. If it is very official thing, yes, of course. If it is like you are talking to the customer service or something like, you don't need to do that. But if it is related to some serious stuff, right? Complaint or something, right? Official. So you better know to which number you are calling, to which person, right? Because he may be a some high level person, right? Or maybe just a low level person. So, right. So it's very important that you know who to whom you are talking to, right? Otherwise, you can double check, right? You can just ask, may I know who to whom I am talking to, right? Because you must give the respect to that person, right? And otherwise, it will be just you are talking nonsense, right? Not relevant to that person, right? Research who you will be speaking to. Get to the point directly without introducing who you are. No, that is bad, right? So you better introduce yourself, right? I am this particular, especially if it is a serious stuff. Okay. Jot down a few talking points. So jot down means write it down, right? So sometimes yes, if it is a official phone call, some important things, otherwise you will forget, right? You will forget, right? That's a good practice. Ask if it is a good time to talk. So that is a very
So
good.
C is not correct, no?
See, got to the point directly
Yeah.
without it. Sorry, yes. So that is wrong. Right, it's my mistake. Yeah, got to the point directly without introducing who you are is bad thing. Yes. So then ask if it is good time to talk. That is good. Anyway, that is something like if you are talking to a customer service or something, you don't need to do that. But if you are just talking to someone, official person, right? So it's always good to talk, say that it's good. Is it good time? For example, say you are a student, you are talking to our student representative for registration process, right? So then you don't need to ask whether it's a good time for talk. But if you are talking to some manager or some specific thing, it's always because they may be in a meeting or they may be attending to some other task, especially if you want to discuss a little bit in detail, right? It's always good to say like this, right? So it's talk about correcting. So I'll go for A, B, D, and E, right? That means everything other than C. Yes, everything other than C. Which of the following you should not do in a job interview? Right? Job interview you should not do. Give your opinion about the things that you would prefer to change the company. Okay, that is terrible thing, right? Smile, be natural and speak with confidence. Yes. Be open and honest. Yes. Try not to get into salary details early. Yes. Yes. Don't go into salary early. Do not underestimate or estimate yourself. Yes. Don't underestimate. Don't overestimate. Right. Right. Not to do. On. Not to do. So therefore answer is A. The මේටිකට ගහුවත් ලකුණු නෑ. So make sure you are very, very serious about the questions. Right? A. 15. Which of the following statements should you consider before you prepare yourself to deliver a speech? Make sure the speech is too long so that the audience will get bored. So that is terrible thing to do. Know your audience in advance. Yes. Research the topic well and write down the speech points, facts, and in a piece of paper. Yes. Try rehearsing in front of a small audience. Yes, if you are, especially if you are new to this, do that. But if you are a seasoned or very experienced speaker, you don't need to do that. But as average, yes. Make sure the opening of the speech is attention grabbing. Yes, right. It should be attention grabbing. That means don't say jokes and so on, right? But make it a little bit interesting, attention grabbing. Right. We'll go for again. Is it? Yeah. You should consider. So then B, C, D, E. Yes, B, C, D, E. Right. So this is the time consuming questions. Okay. So my okay. So this is 16 to 25, right? So other if it is something like 16 to 20 or something, make sure you do the rest of the questions, right? Say this passage is related to 16 to 20, then there are another five questions. So then do those five questions and come back to this. And make sure this is your last task, right? Last task. Okay. Otherwise, uh, you may not get time to do the rest of the question. But anyway, here you don't have any other option. All questions, right? Almost, right? 9 questions, right? Here, 9 questions are related to this. And this passage is very easy, right? So I just noticed that passages are getting more and more complicated, right? More and more complicated. And also you can see the passages, the paragraphs are numbered, right? Sometimes your question refer to the paragraph number. So then straight away go to the paragraph, okay? So just make sure you have noticed those things, okay? Right. So my recommendation is before reading this, right, just rush through the questions and get a feeling about what are the questions, right? I'm not asking you to find the answers. Just spend about 1 30 seconds to rush through your questions, right? So then you get a feeling of what kind of questions the examiner asks. So then when you read it, you can pay a little bit more attention because your subconscious will pay attention to those, right? Right. What is because if you when you see the word accrued in your passage, you can even mark it because you know that there's a question, right? Right. What is mean by accrued in the first paragraph? You are not looking at the answers, right? Just to get a feeling of what kind of question they ask, right? Accrued in the first paragraph. What is mean by men outpace their female counterparts now in the third paragraph, right? So that is easy, right? Third paragraph because numbers are there. Choose one reason why women cannot be completely prevented from migrating. Okay, so now you can think about those things when you read. Choose one reason why women cannot be completely prevented from. Okay, that's it. Uh, when are traditional? What are the traditional reasons mentioned in the excerpt that tempted women to migrate? What is the outcome of irregular migration? Which statement is false? Okay, that choose the false answer. Okay, that we can't help. Which statement summarize the fifth paragraph properly? Okay. Which of the following properly paraphrase paragraph 7? දැන් ඔයාලට idea එකක් තියෙනවා මොනවද අහන්නේ කියලා. හරි. The most appropriate title for this excerpt is ඔයාලට මේකට title එකකුත් හිතා ගන්න වෙනවා ඉවර වෙද්දී. හරි හොඳම title එක. So pretty much the similar question they ask in all every year. Now let's read it very quickly. හරිද accrued වගේ වචනයක් දැක්කොත් ටක් ගාලා මාක් කරගන්න. එතන ඉඳලා අරක උත්තරේ දෙන්න. Right. Uh, and also, if you feel something interesting, relevant, just underline it, right? But read the entire thing first. Contrary to the emerging trends in labor migration, of course, if you don't know a particular word, you need to guess it. I told you the guessing game in the very first day in communication skills in semester one. Actually, we discussed those things in semester one communication skills, right? How do you tackle the word guessing game, and also if you don't know the exact word, use something similar. But grammar, you can't play games. That is why we did grammar separate session, taking time, right? Because right, and also contextual use, right? So play that game, right? Contrary to the emerging trends in labor migration, where in some labor sending countries prospective female migration workers fall into debt when they attempt to finance their migration overseas. That means when they try to finance their migration, they need to get into debt. ඒගොල්ලෝ ණය වෙනවා යන්න කලින්ම. They talk about female migrant workers. Okay. In Sri Lanka, the reverse happens. Women are seeking work overseas as a means of paying off accrued debt. So in Sri Lanka, they are already in debt. Now they try to go abroad to pay the debt. That is a different scenario in Sri Lanka. Right? In other countries, they get into debt to go into other countries. In Sri Lanka, they are already in debt. Now they try to go abroad to pay the debt. As reported widely in local media, Sri Lankan women are increasingly seeking access to microcredit, largely enabled by spread of microfinance lending institutes at the community level. You know what is microcredit is, right? Grami Bank එහෙම කියලා තියෙන්නේ. As multiple borrowings become common and debt burden rises, women crumble දැන් මේක වචන දන්නේ නැත්නම් ගෙස් කරගෙන යන්න. එතන හිර වෙන්න එපා. හරි? To stay ahead of the next loan payment. In the face of mounting debt, migration becomes attractive to these women who had not previously considered leaving the country in search of work. Okay, so basically this is driven by their debt. According to government statistics, over 200,000 men and women migrate for work every year from Sri Lanka. Men outpace their female counterparts now. මතකද එහෙම question එකක් තිබුණා. හරි? මම accrued කියන වචනේ තාම අහුන්නේ නැහැ ඔන්න. හරි? දැන් අපි දන්නවා එතනට එන්න ඕනේ මෙතනට කියලා. හරි? Uh, reversing a long-standing trend where women sought work in West Asia, mostly as domestic workers. Government regulations that seek to control their outward migration have been largely viewed as a contributory factor leading to the slowing down of women's migrations. Right? So that means government try to control the woman migration because woman migration means here the going for work. That is a social issue. Such regulations, however, cannot completely prevent, right? It cannot completely prevent women from migrating. This is mainly because the government structures are unable to provide sound alternatives to the problems women try to counter by searching for work overseas. Because they can't provide the alternatives, these women have no other option. Such efforts to offer alternative options are becoming more challenging, especially in the face of fast emerging nexus between debt and migration. Moreover, the trend is closely linked to the recruitment agencies willing to financially compensate women who wish to work as domestic workers in certain West Asian countries, despite regulation to prevent offers of such financial incentives. So that means these agencies try to sort of sponsor these people, right? So that means it's a debt again, okay? Because just to encourage them, but it is illegal, okay? The traditional reasons that push women to seek work overseas still matter, such as the wish to build a house for a family or to finance the children education. Nevertheless, debt-induced migration is becoming commonplace across both the urban and rural setting. So the main reason is your debt, right? Other reasons are build a house, finance children's education. Studies are consistently pointing out the desperation, stigma, and the pressure the women experience when they are unable to repay their loans. Right? Again, the pressure is from their loans. In the face of such mounting pressure, women are compelled to seek immediate solutions. In doing so, however, they risk being exploited and receive incorrect information about migration options. In such instances, government regulations that prevent certain groups of women from migrating for work also appears to be counterproductive, as women are forced to circumvent these regulations and migrate at any cost. Okay. Irregular migration in turn raises the spectra of human trafficking and women being denied their rights as workers during their 2-year contract period. So that is exploitation of women. The fact that they have accepted the financial incentives to secure employment overseas become a powerful tool for recruitment agents to use against women. Remember, these agencies sponsor them. So then they can't come back because they have it's another debt, right? Who wish to return permanently or lodge complaints about their employer or working conditions. Similarly, women may not in actuality receive the promised amount, again raising concerns of being further exploited. In such instances, they have little access to legal recourses, as such payments are not recognized nor encouraged within the migration process. So they can't go to the courts or whatever because those are illegal things that these people have already done by the workers. Attempting to prevent women from migrating for work overseas will only render limited success, right? Limited success because these socio-economic concerns, again, samaja arthika, existent at the ground level, bimmattame, have not been resolved. More importantly, the issue of debt-induced migration. Debt-induced migration means migration related to debt. Induced means influence. Cannot simply be resolved only by government entities that are assigned the tasks related to labor migration. What is required is more concentrated effort that bring together varied government and non-government entities to extend support to the women, support to those women. Seeking a way out, seeking a way out of mounting debt. ඒ කියන්නේ ණය බරින් නිදහස් වෙනවා. Way out කියන්නේ එළියට එනවා. Seeking a way out of mounting debt through migration can be viewed as a new phase in labor migration. But what is troubling in this new turn, ඒ කියන්නේ අලුත් turn එක කියන්නේ අලුත් හැරවුම is that women opt to migrate to escape one form of exploitation and may very well expose themselves to further vulnerabilities. මේ රට ඇතුලේ තමන්ව අපහරණය වෙන එකෙන් ගැලවෙන්න ගිහිල්ලා තව අමාරුවකට වැටෙනවා නේද? Further vulnerabilities තවත් අමාරුකම් වලට වැටෙනවා. Unless these implications are well understood, prospective female migrant workers may face higher risk of being exploited, both prior to and after migrating for work. Right. So this is one of the reasons why we are conducting classes mostly in English also, right? Because that is the expectation, right? So how quickly you can read this kind of a thing and understand, right? Get the big picture. Now let's read it. Right. Questions. Right. What is mean by accrued in the first paragraph? Right. Good thing is they say first paragraph. දැන් මට accrued එක miss වුණා ඒ වෙලාවේ. Right. First paragraph එකේ තියෙන්නේ. සාමාන්‍ය accrued කියන්නේ එකතු වෙච්ච. ඒක දන්නවනම් ඉතින් accounting එහෙම කරපුවා දන්න accrued කියන්නේ එකතු වෙච්ච නේ. accrued debt කියන්නේ නමුත් අපි මේකෙන් බලමු. ඔය බලන්න. ඔය accrued තාම හොයාගන්න බැන්නා. Where some labor yeah, you can say accrued debt. Yes, accrued debt කියන්නේ එකතු වෙච්ච. Right? Accrued debt means over the time the debt has been accumulated, right? So that is called accrued. Right? Account කරපෑන වචන කොහොමද දන්නව? Right? So what is the best answer? Accumulated. Yes, accumulated is a good one. Decremented means getting lesser and lesser. Increasing means getting increase. Huge, very large, low. Not low, right? Not decremented. But this word is
So in
accrued.
this one, only one correct answer.
But they have not mentioned like that, okay?
They have mentioned, no, sir.
Yeah.
These questions have only
Yes.
one correct
Yeah, so
response.
that is a very good point, right? So that make your life much easier, right? Actually, so just read it again, okay? So I completely miss it, right? So they say that is very good attention to details. These questions have only one correct responses.
Yeah,
That
they
is only
say
for 16 to
but they
25, okay?
say very well.
But we don't know in other papers what is the case, right? But again, read it when you get your paper also. That is, I think, to make your life easier, right? If it is one correct answer, I will definitely go for accumulated, right? Accumulated because that is the best one for me. Otherwise, I may have selected C also, okay? But I'll go for accumulated, right? 16, I will go for A because it says only one answer. Right. So what is mean by men outpace their female counterparts now in the third paragraph? Right. So outpace means usually go beyond, right? Oh, right. Outpace. But anyway, let's read it. Third paragraph. They have numbered. You can see it's bold also. According to the government statistic, over 200,000 men and women migrate for work every year from Sri Lanka. Men outpace their female counterparts now, reversing long-standing trend where women sought work in West Asia mostly as domestic workers. Okay. Government regulations that seek to control their outward migration have been largely viewed as a contributory factor leading to the slowing down of the women's migration. Now you can see now the women's migration has been slowed down due to the government's activities. So therefore, what has happened? Men outpace their female counterparts now. Okay? පිරිමි කට්ටිය ගැහණු කට්ටියට වඩා දැන් වැඩියෙන් යනවා. ඉස්සර ගියේ ඔය 80 ගණන් වල එහෙම යන්නෙම ගැහණු කට්ටිය තමයි හවුස් මේඩ්ලා විදියට. දැන් ඔය ඩුබායි එහෙම යන්නේ ගොඩක් වෙලාවට වැඩියෙන් පිරිමි කට්ටිය. So that is what the men outpace their female counterparts now. Counterparts means the respective the men's counterpart is female. Okay. Right. So that means the number of men migration has increased or go beyond number of female migration. So here migration means going for work. Okay. Foreign work. Right. What is the best answer? Because only one answer. More than women, it is men who migrate to work from Sri Lanka. More than women, it is, yeah, that is correct, right? It is men who migrate to work from Sri Lanka. That looks okay, but anyway, let's read all the answers. More than men, it is women who migrate to work from Sri Lanka. No, right? So it says men outpace their female counterparts now. Large number of both men and women migrate. No, that is not it means. The number of men migrating for work, mitigating, right? Mitigating is not migration. Mitigate means something like give it to the next level, right? Mitigate risk, right? Mitigate risk means something like taking insurance is mitigating the risk. So this is not migration, mitigating. So therefore I will not go for that. The number of men migrating for work from Sri Lanka is similar to the number of women. Is it similar? Outspace. So usually outspace means go beyond, right? I'll go for it. Okay. I'll go for it. Yeah. Outpace means go beyond, right? Not similar number. Outpace means it of go past. So therefore answer is correct. A. 18. Choose one reason, right? One reason why women cannot be completely prevented from migrating, right? One reason. So there were a lot of reasons mentioned, right? Government regulations control outward migrations. Control outward migration. That is good thing, right? But it says cannot be completely prevented. Anyway, this is already happening. But anyway, let's see. The inability of government structures to provide better solutions for women's problem to which they are trying to find solution by migration. So this says complete. Why can't we completely prevented? I think that was mentioned there, right? Why it is cannot be completely prevented. Anyway, let's read all five answers. I think this is mentioned. Okay. The fast emerging nexus between debt and motivation. Uh, rec- Recruitment agents are not willing to offer financial incentives. Actually, that is wrong. They are willing to offer financial incentives. Women crave work overseas. එහෙම කියලා දෙන්නේ නැහැ නේද? මේ කාන්තාව පිටරට යන හරි පෙරේතයි කියලා නේද? එහෙම නෝට් එහෙම කට්ටියක් ඇති. But that was not mentioned, right? එහෙම පෙරේතකමට යනවා කියලා. Right. So I think they mentioned this, right? Why can't we fully prevent this? You can see attempting to prevent women from migrating for work overseas will only render limited success because these socio-economic concerns existent at the ground level have not been resolved. මේ ප්‍රශ්න විසඳලා නැති හන්ද මේක සම්පූර්ණයෙන් නවත්ත ගන්න බෑ. More importantly, the issue of debt-induced migration cannot simply be resolved only by government entities that are assigned the tasks related to labor migration. What is required is more concerted effort that bring together varied government and non-government entities to extend support to the women. So these specific institute alone, they can't do this. So what we need is more collective effort with various government institute, non-government institute, right? So they collectively try to solve their root problems, right? So I think the answer should be then This one, right? The inability of government structure to provide better solutions for women problem, right? Which they are trying to find solutions by migrating, right? Fast emerging nexus between depth and motivation. Government regulation control, but this is okay, but this is not related to the question. So the question is why you can't completely prevent. So therefore, this is not answer, right? This is not answer. C is also okay, fast emerging nexus between, but that, yeah, that also, but I feel like B is better because I think B is sort of a directly mentioned there. Okay. Yes, it's B. 19. What are the traditional regions mentioned in the excerpt, except can උපුටාගත් එක, that tempted women to migrate? Buying a land and building a house. එහෙම තියුණා නේද? Right? Traditional reasons. I think that was there. What are the traditional reasons, right? So they then again they ask about plural, right? Is it only one answer or many answers? Or how ඔක්කොටම තියුණ එකයි කියලාද? Yeah, 16 to 25, these questions have only one correct response, right? But these may ඔක්කොම තියුණා වගේ මතකයි. Right? For children's education and building a house, එහෙම තියුණානේ. Buying a house, only exact වචන ටික හොයන්න මේ. Buying a house and for children's may same thing. So I think the examiner is looking for the exact words, right? Exact words to pay
In
off.
paragraph 4.
Sorry?
In paragraph 4, it have mentioned.
Yeah. So it's the same answer. They are expecting sort of the sort of exact meaning or exact words, right? Exact words. So let's go to the paragraph. Right. So you can see the traditional reasons that push women to seek work overseas still matter, such as wish to build a house for the family or to finance the children's education. Nevertheless, debt-induced migration is becoming commonplace across both urban and rural settings. So this is the word they have mentioned. Wish to build a house for the family or to finance children's education. Now let's see what is the best one. Buying a house and for children's education. That is also good, right? Children's education and pay off debts, but that is not the traditional that they mentioned, right? They don't mention they are the pay off debts, right? The traditional thing they have mentioned is building a house and for children's education. But this is also the same, right? For children's education and building a house. Building a house or buying a house?
Yes, in C, they have given buying a house,
Yeah, that is what
but in the paragraph, they have mentioned building a house.
Finance the children's education, build a house, right? So therefore, we'll go for build the house. So therefore, I will not go for this one also. This is for children's education and building a house. This is also buying a land, but the better answer is these two, right? This one, right? Children's education and building a house, because that is what mentioned there. So I'll go for B. Right? I'll go for B. Best one, I'll go for B. Yes, answer is B. Okay. So look for the best answer because now if you haven't seen that only one answer is correct, most of these answers are going to be wrong. It's good that you pick that, right? Otherwise, I will also one thing is I will be spending more time. Other thing is I will be looking for multiple answers. So so therefore just read each and every bit and piece of your questions, okay? So I never expect something like this because usually your entire paper is in one structure, but this one you can see multiple structures. Actually, they should have mentioned this at the beginning, saying that 1 to 15 multiple answers, but 16 to 25 only one correct answer, right? Ideally, they should have done like that, but anyway, so we can't blame them. We need to read each and every question, okay? Right, next question. What is the outcome of irregular migration? Women being denied their rights as a housekeeper, increase in the likelihood of human trafficking, less possibility of human trafficking. That is wrong. Women being denied their right as citizens, not as citizens, right? As workers. Women being given the rights as workers during their 2 years. No, they are not getting that rights, right? So maybe one of these. Women being denied their rights as housekeepers. Is it housekeepers? I don't think so.
No, sir.
Where is that?
In paragraph 3, beginning of paragraph 3.
Paragraph 3.
Sorry, 6.
6. Women's being denied their rights as workers, right? Not as housekeepers, right? So therefore, we will not take that also there. Okay. But B is correct, right? Increase the likelihood of human trafficking. Is it mentioned?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it is mentioned. So then we'll go for B. Okay. 20 will go for B. Yes, B. Right. 21. Which statement is false? Right. These are time consuming statements. Okay. Uh, Women who accept financial incentives from recruitment agents have no possibility to return before their contract period ends. So again, they are looking for the best sentence because it looks like the same sentence in different way, right? So let's read the sentence from there first. From which paragraph? Which paragraph is that? Similarly, women may not in actually receive the promised amount, again raising concerns of being further exploited. In such instance, they have little access to legal resources within the migration process. Uh, Attempting to prevent women from migrating. So where is that? Where is that? Which paragraph? Not possibility of returning.
So it is in paragraph 6.
6.
Yeah. The fact that they have accepted a financial
The fact
from
that
there.
they have accepted a financial incentive to secure employment overseas becomes a powerful tool for recruitment agents to use against women who wish to return prematurely, or lodge complaints about their employer or working conditions. Similarly, women may not in actuality receive the promised amount and blah, blah, blah. So that means it is working against because they have all taken some money, right? Incentives. Right? The fact that they have accepted financial intensive to secure employment overseas become powerful tool for recruitment agents to use against women who wish to return prematurely or lodge complaints about their employer or working conditions. Right. So let's see which one is the best. Women who accept financial incentives from recruiting agents have no responsibility to return. So that is not correct, right? I don't think that is that gives any idea about that. Okay. I will not go for that because it says woman has no responsibility. Women who accept financial incentives from recruitment agents are not able to lodge complaints against their employer. Okay, so it looks okay, but let's see. Women who accept financial incentives have no access to legal resources, even if they are not paid the promised amount. Women who accept financial incentives from recruitment agents are denied their rights as a worker during her 2 year contract period. Women who accept the financial incentives from their recruitment agents are not able to lodge complaints about their working conditions. Okay, so see which one is the best one, right? I can't spend a lot of time because otherwise we will not be able to do the other paper, right? So what is the answer? Just try your best and find the best answer, right? I can't figure out what is the best one right now,
E.
okay? Right, so let's see the answer. Yeah, examiner has taken D. Women who accept financial incentives from recruitment agents are denied their rights as a worker during her 2-year contract period. Yeah, maybe. I'm not very sure about that. Okay. Right. So then 22. Now these are anyway, these are just because I do this, it is not going to help you guys doing your paper because your paper you have a uh, different, uh, different paragraph. Okay. So therefore now you have idea about what is it, right? Because you are not going to get this question in your paper, right? So now you have some idea. So therefore, I will be spending more time on specific questions rather than paragraph related things. Okay, because it depends on your way of thinking. Okay, right. So what about the 25? The most appropriate title for this expert. So that is all. I think always they ask that. Women, debt and migration, types of women migration, I don't think that is good. Just migration is too general. Migration in Sri Lanka, no, this is specifically to talk about women. Reason for migration, I think the best one is women, debt and migration. Okay. Or second best is B because they specifically talk about women's migration issue. Right. I think the answer must be A. 24, they have given marks to everyone also. Okay. Maybe something too fussy. Okay.
So
Right.
what is 22nd and 23rd answers? Can you show?
22nd and 23rd, you have the answers in your Google Classroom, right? 22nd answer is B. 23rd also answer is B. Both A and B. Okay. And 24, they have given marks to everyone. Okay. Right. So we'll take a small break and then we'll do 2000. No, then we'll do the latest paper because otherwise, if you don't have the time, we are in trouble again. So therefore, now we did 2020. Next we'll do the 2023. Okay. Okay, so now let's move on to the latest paper because otherwise, if we run out of time, right? Right, 2023. Okay, and again, I will be more concentrating on the not the paragraph much. Okay, because paragraph is every year different paragraph, but you must yeah get an idea about how to tackle paragraph questions. Okay, right. So this is the latest paper. This one has only 20 questions, right? Not 25 questions. That is good news for you. But again, one or more answers, right? Okay, just give me 1 minute. Okay, sorry for that. Uh, right, one or more answers and only 20 questions in this paper, right? But remember each question because sometimes again they will say only one answer is correct for some questions, okay? Right. Question number one. Which of the following statements are true regarding difference between typing and handwriting? Handwriting is activities. Handwriting activates more areas of brain involved in thinking, language, and yes, handwriting is more emotional thing. Typing is universally faster for everyone compared to handwriting. No, not everyone, right? Because everyone is not good at typing, right? Because some people can't typing at all. Handwriting can improve memory, recall, and enhance creativity compared to typing. Yes, that's emotional. context. There is, okay, just give 1 minute. Right. There is no significant difference in how well typing and handwriting support learning and memory recall. No significant difference in how well typing and no, there's a difference, right? So usually handwriting is better for learning, right? But again, these are debatable things, right? In the future, right? These things might be wrong because according to your note, actually most of the time your note refer to it as right. It like that, okay? There is, but it says no significant difference. But your note keeps telling that handwriting is better. So therefore I say no. Typing can actually, in my case, personally, my handwriting is terrible, so I always prefer typing, right? Typing. But anyway, that is my personal view. But your note keeps saying that handwriting is better for education, okay? Right. Typing can decrease the need for cognitive resources compared to handwriting, making it easier for some people to express their thoughts. Typing can ex- de- Typing can decrease the need for cognitive resources. Yes, when you're typing, you need less cognitive resources. Cognitive means related to education, understanding, and so on. Compared to handwriting, make it easier for some people to express their thoughts. Actually, personally, that is the case for me. I prefer to type in than write handwriting, right? But I think your notice keep telling uh, typing can decrease the need for cognitive resources, right? Making it easier for some people to, but this is making it easier for some people to express their thoughts. I personally accept this, but I don't know whether your note is biased towards that. I think your note is always telling that handwriting is always best. Okay, so therefore I'll not go for that. Right. What is the answer? Right. Yes, A and C correct. Examiner has taken E. That means examiner also because of this says some people, right? So maybe some people like me, some people like me. Yes, I usually prefer to typing. I hate to write handwriting things. So I think that is what this says. Some people, so some people like to handwriting because it's very neutral, especially technical things, business things. Right? These days, anyway, whether we like it or not, we are moving towards more and more typing, right? Less and less handwriting. Okay. Right. Anyway, examiner has taken A, C, and E. Which of the following sentences contains correct capitalization? I love reading books by Mark. Now, Mark Twain. Mark is the name. If T is capital, then must be capital because Mark is, I don't know whether you have heard that person. He's an author, Mark Twain. So M must be capital, right? So that is wrong. She moved to New York City because city do we need? Because she loves the Empire State Building. If Empire State Building was usually everything must be capital. If I can remember, right? Empire State Building, not just the empire. Right. So that is something I don't like. And also, do you need New York City C capital? I don't think so. And right. So I will not go for this. Uh, the president will address the Congress on Thursday. Right. So here P capital do we need because this is just the post, right? Uh, I will not go for that. We visited the Grand Canyon on trip to Arizona. That looks okay, right? So both are capital, right? That is a hotel name or something, right? Uh, and Arizona is state name, so I'll go for that. He hopes to join the United States Navy. No, United States is country, right? Capital. I'll go for D. Right, I'll go for D. Oh, examiner has taken C also. So that means examiner in this case, P capital, examiner has taken. Okay. Congress, it's like parliament, right? Do we need to say parliament P capital? Anyway, it's debatable for me. But anyway, examiner has taken C. Actually, these two are a little bit debatable for me. But anyway, examiner has taken C also. Anyway, this is languages, right? So therefore, there can be a bit of debates. Okay. But since I mark this, I get half a mark. Right. Which of the following sentence shows correct use of commas? Correct use of commas. Now, these are the tough questions. Okay. Again, multiple answers are possible. A. Before we go to the beach, don't forget to apply sunscreen pack towards and grab your sunglasses. Before we go to the beach, now do we need double quote here? Right? I think that is wrong, right? Because don't means single quote. But you talk about use of commas, but this is not a comma. But anyway, this is wrong. Okay. But comma usage look okay, right? Before we go to beach, don't forget to apply sunscreen pack towels. So towels and grab your sunglasses. Maybe we can use, remember there's something called Oxford comma, whether you need comma or not after and
Sir, between pack and towel isn't a comma should come.
sunscreen pack. Yeah, sunscreen pack, comma towels. Yes. Sunscreen pack, comma towels. Yes, there should be a comma, definitely. Yes. Right. But this one is I don't know why they have added sort of two chords. But anyway, they are talking about commas, so therefore I will ignore it. Even though we ignore this, there should be a comma here, right? Yes. So therefore we will not take that. Okay. Right. B. The conference starts on Monday, September 14th. Right. That comma is correct. In New York City, New York, and feature speakers from around the world. So it looks okay, right? Because this is correct. In New York City, New York, right? And this is the Oxford comma. Speakers from around the world. It looks okay. Okay, so let's keep that.
So is a comma coming between 14 and in?
September 14th. Yeah, right. September 14th in New York City. Because this is talking about the time. Now they talk about the place, right?
Okay, sir.
uh, because they shift the context. Uh, I think so, right? I'm not very 100% sure because this is a language, but I feel like that is fine. She planned to study all night. However, do we need a comma here? However, right, that is fine, right? He planned to study all night. However, no, this must be full stop, right? No. She planned to study all night. Yeah, this should be full stop, right? Because that's the end of the story, end of the sentence for me. Right. So shall we ask from ChatGPT? Yes. Shall we ask from ChatGPT that one? Punctuation. Check. So I feel like here we should have full stop. No. Semicolon. Right? She planned to study all night. However, she fell asleep. That is what ChatGPT says. Okay. Alternatively, you can break it into two sentences. So ChatGPT says, okay, full stop is also okay. But ChatGPT do not agree with the comma. Yeah. So therefore, I think comma is not good. Maybe full stop or semicolon. Right. So therefore, we will not go for that. Okay. ChatGPT also says that is not good. My favorite foods are pizza. We need a comma. Pizza, comma, spaghetti. The old oak tree. Do we need comma here? I don't think the old oak tree, right? With adjectives, you don't need comma. Okay. I'll. So anyway, we need one answer at least. So therefore, anyway, I'll go for B. Right? Anyway, I'll go for B. Yes, it is B. Right. So connectives are usually easier. Which of the following is are most appropriate connectives that fills the blank in the text given below? Now, don't take this subject lightly, right? A lot of students, because if you fail this subject, even though you get a lot of A's for other subject, you can't go to the level two. So every year, students ask, do we have any solutions? No solution. If you fail introductory maths, sorry, now introductory maths, they have make it a normal subject, right? So just remember, in semester one, all your subjects were, I just want to repeat this, right? In semester one, all your subjects were EN subjects. Even though you fail like C minus or even D plus, you can go to level two, right? Just keep this in mind. But this is a EN subject. The moment you fail this subject, right? The moment you fail communication skill subject, that's the end of the story. Next year you can't register for level two. Okay, you can't register for level two, right? So previously the same problem was there for maths also, but for your batch, so they make introductory maths IT subject. So they simply did it because a lot of students were not able to go to level two in previous years because introductory maths failed, right? Introductory maths failed. The moment introductory maths fails, they can't go to level two, right? But in semester one, you never face that situation. Anyways, semester two, anyone can do, right? Because semester two is continuation of semester one. But the moment, right? If you fail this subject, because you get only pass or fail, you don't get great grades, right? ABC. If you cannot achieve more than 40, of that means fail, it doesn't matter all the other subjects you have A's, you are not allowed to register for level two. Okay, so that you need to keep because a lot of students they don't care about the communication skills subject. I know that. But then don't tell me that, don't ask me, are there any alternatives? No. Maybe you can talk to the university then. Okay, if you fail this subject. Okay, right. Which of the following needs are most appropriate connectives that fills the blank in the text given below? She had not studied much for the exam. She passed with flying colors. So that is contradictory, right? So it can't be since. It can be although. Although she had not studied much for the exam, she passed with flying colors. Not and, not because, not while. Okay, while is also okay. Uh, while she had not, but this is the best one. Right? It says most appropriate, right? So best is for me although. I'll go for B. Yes, B. Fifth one. Which of the following is the most appropriate conjunctions that fill in the blanks in the text given below? He couldn't decide to take the job offer in New York or stay in the current position in Boston. Maybe it's a decision, this or that. Okay. He couldn't decide although to take, because to take, either to take the job offer in New York or it looks okay for me. Whether to take the job offer, that is also okay for me. Okay. But to take, no, not but. Okay. Right. So not because, not although. So these are the two possibilities, but again, most appropriate. He couldn't decide. either to take, whether to take. I think the rhythmic way, I prefer to go for whether. And usually we don't say either to, right? It's either taking or no, either doing, right? So when we say to, usually we go for whether, right? He couldn't decide. This weather is not the climate related weather. This is WHETHER, right? Whether to take the job offer in New York or so I'll go for D because it says most appropriate. Yes, D. Right. So this is the easy one if you know your passive voice, right? As the පියාගෙන කරන්න පුළුවන්. The chef prepares the meal. The meal, now this is simple present tense. The meal is prepared by the chef. Is this the correct one? Not was. No, this will be, yeah, answer is definitely A. A. 7. Which of the following sentences is are written in active voices? Active voice. The presentation was given this passive voice. The gardener plants a new tree in every spring. Yes. A new song is released by passive voice. The teacher explains the lessons clearly. Yes. The cat chased the mouse. Yes. So the active voice sentences are B, D, E. B, D, E. හරි ඒවා අපි සෙමෙස්ටර් 1 වල කරලා තියෙන කොහොමද ඔය ඉස්කෝලේත් මැත් ඉංග්‍රීසි කරානේ. Which of the following is are incorrect regarding the relationship between the audience, purpose, and writing process? Will they do graduation ceremony for diploma and yes, separate. Those are separate. Okay. Right. So there's a question: how many past papers? It depends. For communication, do all 4 past papers. Other subjects, at least do 3 past papers. At least 3. For maths, of course, any subject, the larger the number of past papers, better, right? But at least 3, right? My recommendation is at least 3. Right. Which of the following is are incorrect regarding the relationship between audience, purpose, and writing process? Incorrect. Right? Incorrect. Relationship between audience, purpose, and writing process. The writing process should ignore the audience to stay true to the writer's original intent. No, you must not ignore audience. Understanding the audience's needs can shape the writing process from the beginning. Yes. The purpose of writing should be determined after the piece is completed, no, before. The purpose of writing directly influences the choice of audience. Purpose of writing directly influences the choice of audience. What is that? No, right? The audience influence the purpose, right? I think it should be other way. Right? Yeah, I'll not go for this. Purpose of writing directly influence the choice of audience. So this is your purpose that influence the audience. That is also correct, right? So depending on the purpose, you need to pick the audience. Or depending on the audience, you need to pick. Anyway, it's both way, right? Purpose influence the audience, right? So because if the purpose is something specific, you need to pick the audience also, right? And you will take it, right? Because purpose influence the audience, right? And actually, it's both way. Audience influence the purpose also. Uh, anyway, it's debatable answer. Effective writing involves targeting the purpose and the intended audience. Yes, right. Targeting the purpose and the audience. Again, they are looking for incorrect. So I'll go for then A, C, and possibly D. I'm not very sure about D, but right. But therefore I'll go for A and C. Yes, A and C. A and C. Right? Examiner has not taken D. That means examiner has considered D as correct. Okay. That means it both way. Purpose influence the audience and audience influence the purpose. Usually purpose comes first, right? Purpose comes first. So then we decide other things. Yeah, I think this is correct. So then answer is A and C. Right. So which of the following is essential for creating an effective CV? Include personal statement or summary at the beginning that clearly outlines your career goals and highlights your key skills. Yes, that is good. It is not a must, but in general, it's a good point, right? Just simple one sentence, right? It's your overview, your purpose. Maybe you can highlight bit of your key skills, your key attributes. Tailoring the CV to the specific job and industry you are applying for, highlighting relevant experience and skill. That is really, really yes. Right. Include a detailed description of your responsibilities in each role without focusing on achievements. Include detailed description of your responsibilities in each role. That is when you specify your experience without focusing achievements. No, you need to specify your achievements also, right? I don't know why they say without focusing on achievements, right? I say no. Using clear, concise language and professional format to make CV easy to read. Yes. Disregarding the number of pages in your CV. No, you need to think about it must not be too lengthy. Right? Usually it should not be more than 2 pages. Right? If you are a very experienced person and very specific job, yes, maybe more than 2 pages. But in general, uh, 2 pages is the maximum. Disregarding the number of pages. So say, let's say no. Essential. So answer must be then for me A, B, and D. Yes, A, B, and D. 10. When is it appropriate to include cover letter with your job application? Right? Always, right? Only when you have personal connect. No. Whenever you submit a job application, regardless of whether the job vacancy mention it, yes. Usually job vacancy just doesn't mention about cover letter. When the job vacancy explicitly state not to include, no. As a follow-up after, no, that is not cover letter. When applying to highly competitive positions, where standing out from the other candidate is crucial. Yes, that is correct. So one of the purpose of cover letter is, right, you need to highlight yourself, right? So you try to prepare your best CV, you try to send the best covering letter because because they try to get the best person in after the interview. So if they try to get the best person, right? So they when they interview 10 people, maybe they hire only one or two. So then you must try to convince that I am the best. So how do you convince that you are the best? Make sure your CV is the best. Make sure your covering letter is the best. Then make sure you face the interview best. Simple as that. There's no other option. I'll say yes. Right? එහෙමයි කියලා මේ පුරසාරන් ලියන්නේ නැහැ හරි. Just be professional. So best කියන්නේ දිගට ලියන එක එහෙම නෙමෙයි. Be professional. Right? Maybe bit of your touch, bit of your class in your CV, in your cover letter, when you face exam, when you face the interview. So your class, your character, your charisma, right? So I'll go for B and E. Yes, B and E. Which of the following is are not considered effective listening strategies, right? Not considered. Not. Interrupting the speaker to offer your opinion as quickly as possible. No, that is bad. Assuming you know what the speaker is going to say before they finish. Assuming you know what the speaker is, no, that is judgments. Maintaining eye contact with the speaker and nodding to show understanding. Yes. Thinking about how you are going to respond while the speaker is talking. No, right? So you just listen to that guy. Maybe at the end you think about, right, get into judgments and so on. Not at the beginning. Of course, if you need any clarification or whatever, you can ask, but not thinking about what you are going to respond while the speaker is talking, right? So your task is listen. Okay, I will say no. Asking questions to clarify points and ensure, yeah, that is okay. That is okay. At any time you can ask questions. I'll go for C and E. Sorry, wrong answers, right? Sorry, ඒ ටිකට අමතක වුණා. හරි. Not considered effective, right? So then wrong answers, yeah, A, B, and D. Yes, A, B, and D. Okay. What is effective ways to initiate small talk in professional settings? Now, පොඩ්ඩක් පරිස්සම් වෙන්න ඕන. Small talk, but professional setting. Right? Professional setting. ඒ කියන්නේ ඔයා හරියට ඉන්ටර්විව් එකකට ගිහිල්ලා වාඩිලා ඉන්නකොට ඉන්ටර්විව් ආපු තව කෙනෙක් එක්ක පොඩ්ඩක් chat එකක් දානවා වගේ දෙයක්. Right? එහෙම නැත්නම් බිස්නස් මීටින් එකකට ඇවිල්ලා ඉන්නේ. හැබැයි තව පටන් ගත්තේ නැහැ. විනාඩි 5ක් 10ක් තියෙනවා. එතකොට ඔයා එතන ඉන්න තව කෙනෙක් එක්ක කතා කරනවා. හරි? It's a small talk but in a professional setting. Right? Bringing up controversial topics to spark a debate. No. Discussing personal financial matters to find. No. Asking about highly personal life details. No. Commenting on a shared experience or common workplace event. Maybe, right? Because it's professional settings. So common workplace event, right? Shared experience may be okay. Right? Ignoring the general etiquette to make that is well-mannered things. To make the conversation memorable. No, right? Don't ignore those best practices. Right? So I'll go for D. Yes, D. What is an important practices when making professional phone call? Right? Professional phone call. Using a speakerphone in public place to multitask during the no public place. Don't use speakerphone, right? It is not your place. Everyone, you don't disturb others. Ensuring you have all necessary information on hand before making the call. Yes, because you are doing a professional phone call, right? Business or something like that. Keeping background noise to a minimum to ensure clear communication. Yes. Sending a follow-up email after the call to summarize the conversation and next steps. So that is not needed, right? When you give a call, I don't think you need to send a follow-up communication, right? If they ask, yes, but usually you don't need to do that. Okay. After the call. But if they ask, yes, but sometimes some people do this also, right? Because sometimes they even ask, send a follow-up. But if not asked, I don't think you need it. Starting the call by directly diving into the main agenda without greeting or introduction. So that is bad, right? Right. So I will go for BC. I don't know if the examiner will take D, but I will go for BC. Yes, BC only. Examiners also take BC. Okay. Because this is usually when they tell it only you need to do it, right? Otherwise, it's like sort of a negative thing also, right? You try to influence them.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
They are saying important practices, so we can eliminate D1, right?
Sorry?
They are saying important practices only, so we can eliminate D1, right?
So what do you mean by because it's a practice? So this is also some people's practice, right?
No, important. Yeah, they are asking important practice in question.
Yeah, so this is also practice, right? So some people, yeah, I don't think that the important is has anything to do with this one, but okay. because
Okay.
yeah, maybe what you mean is this is a practice, but not an important practice, right? Maybe you have a point also, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think that is also another way of looking at it. This is a practice some people make, but maybe it is not important. Yeah. It has a point. Okay. Yeah. So anyway, the answer is B and C. Right. 14. Which of the following is an incorrect approach to take during job interview? Researching the company and the role beforehand to show your interest and preparation. Yes, definitely. Dressing appropriately for the company culture. Yes, for the company culture and the position you are applying for. Yes. Using examples from your experience to answer questions about your skills and abilities. Yes, because you can use your examples from your experience, your projects, and so on. Asking the interviewer personal question to create a friendly. No, because this is a official thing. Sending a thank you email after the interview to express your appreciation for the opportunity. Sometimes we do, but not always, right? Right? Sometimes, but this is not always the practice, right? Sometimes what happens is they send a thank you email for you attending, right? So therefore, I don't think this is a common practice. Anyway, I have never done this. I don't know whether people do this, right? But usually you don't need, because this might be thinking like you try to influence them also. Okay, I'll say no. So if they are looking for incorrect approaches, I'll go for D and E. D and E. Oh, examine has taken, maybe E is okay. Okay, E is okay. Anyway, my personal opinion is I don't think that that is required. Okay, and that is required because now they need to take the decision. But anyway, examine has uh, taken that E is correct answer. Okay, E has correct answer. Maybe, right? I don't know. It's sort of opinionated. Okay. Right. 15. Which of the following practices is recommended for effective public speaking? Reading directly from your notes to ensure no part of your speech is missed, but that is not very good thing to do, right? So, of course, you can have a guideline, but try to talk naturally. Okay, speak naturally. I'll say no. Using natural gestures to emphasize points to engage the audience. Yes, natural gestures, right? Not artificial. Incorporating poses for emphasis and to allow the audience to absorb information. Yes. So you can emphasize, give a little bit of pause. Right? That is good. Speaking as quickly as possible to cover. No, that is bad. Ignoring the audience reactions. No, that is bad. Recommended for effective speaking. I'll go for B and C. B and C. Right. So this is the passage. This is super, right, complicated passage. But the good news is small passage. So what they have made is somewhat make it sort of a complicated package with lot of technical and not much use words, but they have made it small passage. Okay. And only 5 questions. That also, right? Good. Anyway, we'll come back to the package if we passage if we have time. After doing, or we can do it maybe passage we can do maybe on a Monday or extra class. But our first priority is to these other questions where you get the repetitive questions. Okay. So therefore now we'll move on to, so we just ignore the last 5 questions for the time being. Uh, Maybe we can come back later. But before that, I want to do the 2022 regular questions. Okay. Regular questions. Because those are the sort of a repetitive type of questions. Because every year you get different passage anyway. Again, read the paper, instructions. One or more correct answers. Okay, one or more correct answers. That is negative marks applied. And 25 questions. That year 25. Only last year 20 questions. Okay. Like, which of the following is an advantages of typing compared to handwriting? Right. Typing is better for work that require formatting. Yes, if you want to do formatting, definitely typing is the best. Typing enables you to easily back up your work. Yes, because it's a soft copy, right? Handwriting only one copy. Typing is good for research and multitasking, right? Typing for research kind of things, I think handwriting is because we need to take notes here and there. Multitasking also, I think better to use pen. Typing increases the hand cramps more than handwriting. So that is debatable. It depends on the person, right? For me personally, handwriting is more cramping and typing is less cramping. But it depends. Anyway, debatable. I don't know why they have asked this kind of question. Maybe this is mentioned in your note. So try to find out what is mentioned in your note. Okay. When compared with handwriting, typing makes you creative person. No, other way, right? Your note is always telling handwriting is make use handwriting for creative things. Okay. So therefore we'll say when compared to handwriting type, no, this is wrong. D, I'm not very sure, but I will go for advantages. I'll go for A, B. I don't know whether D is taken or not. Just check your note also. Or is this the correct answer sheet? 2022 correct, right? So examiner has taken C. Typing is good for research and multitasking. I'm not very sure about that. And examiner has anyway not taken D. That means typing increases hand cramps. That means examiner thinks handwriting is more difficult, right? Gives you the cramps in your hand. Then, so that means examiner has taken this as no. Examiner has taken because examiner is asking for the correct answers. D is not in there means examiner has taken it as wrong. So that means typing increase hand cramps. No, examiner thinks that handwriting gives more cramps, right, than typing. That means typing is easier and handwriting is difficult. But anyway, I don't know why examiner has taken C. Typing is good for research and multitasking. I don't know, right? I don't know, right? So that is opinionated answer. Right, second one. Which of the following sentences contains correct capitalization? In Uruguay, yes, U capital. The summer you don't need capital. Begins in December, correct, right? The president of Croatia works in, this should be a town or something, right? This should be a town or something. This should be capitalized. Are you going to be with your family for Holi? Now remember, this is a festival, right? Holi is a festival, right? So usually even New Year, Christmas, Vesak, right? We use capital letters, right? So if I think this is a festival in, I think in India, so this should be then capital, right? Here comes Professor, right? The name from Australia, right? So remember we use it with the name. So then sometimes we use capital, right? Because you use it with the name, right? So here also, this is not named, right? President of Croatia. Anyway, this should be capital. Therefore, anyway, I just did not take it. But I think this is okay. Professor and the name. Okay. Uh, just like President Premadas or something like that. Right. President Chandrika or whatever. Okay. Right. So I think this is fine for me. Will you take my temperature, doctor? It's all about capitalization, right? I don't think this is wrong, right? Will you take my temperature, doctor? I think that is okay, right? You don't need to capitalize this. I'll go for A, D, yeah, correct capitalization. I'll go for A, D, and E. A, D, oh, why not T? Why not E? Is it because of this comma? Shall we ask from ChatGPT? Maybe comma, otherwise, because doctor is normal word, right? Let's ask ChatGPT. Correct. Check capitalization. It says yes. Fine. So then examiner says examiner has not taken E. Anyway, that is debatable again. Okay. So for me also E is okay. Right? I thought maybe because of the comma, but comma is not full stop, right? Examiner has taken it as wrong. Okay. But ChatGPT also says that is okay. I also feel that is okay. Right. Third one. Select the sentence with correct punctuation. Punctuation. Miami Beach, comma, Disney World and Universal Studio make a wonderful place to visit. Do we need this? No, right? Because that is the last one, right? So that is, I don't want that one. B, some people like to get up early in the morning. Others would not like to do so. Right. So this can be semicolon. I'm not 100% sure whether this is semicolon or comma. Okay. Right. But other than that, that this look okay. Some people like to get up early in the morning. Some sort of a pause is needed. Others would not like to do so. So maybe it's okay. But maybe examiner will say not the semicolon, it's colon or whatever. I'm not 100% sure about that. Okay. So that you can refer to the note. I can't see Harry's bike. It must be in the garage. I can't see Harry's bike. Do we need colon? Do we need colon? ඒක තමයි ඔන්න ඔය ඔක තමයි මටත් හිතා ගන්න බෑ ඔක නම් හරි. So maybe you are better at this. Will your brother drive us to the main mall or shall we take a cab? What? I'm not so sure about this one also. What you still have? This should be question mark, right? What question? What you still haven't submitted your assignment. So this is wrong. I'm not very sure about these three. Right? Correct punctuation අහන්නේ නම් මේ තුنين එකක් හරි දෙකක් හරි තමයි මට හිතෙන්නේ. Right? I'm not very sure because I'm not very sure about these colons and semicolon stuff. Okay, to be very honest. And what is the examiner's answer? Right. Out of B, C, the examiner has taken B and D correct. But B and D I correct කරලා තියෙන කියලා. Some people like to get up early in the morning. Colon. So right, it's colon, right? Yes. Colon. Others would not like. බලන්න අර note එකේ colon තියෙන තැන මොනවාද හරියටම කියලා තියෙන්නේ කියලා හරි. Right. Will your brother drive us to the mall or shall I think that is okay, right? That should okay. Yeah, I think that is fine. මේකයි නොගත්තේ. I can't see Harry's bike. I think this must be full stop, right? I think this should be full stop. And I can't see Harry's bike. It must be in the garage. I think this should be full stop. I think that is why examiner has not taken. Make it කොහොමද ඉවරයින වාක්‍යනේ. Yeah. So it should be full stop. Right. Fourth one. Which of the following these are the most appropriate connectives that fills the blank in the text given below? Having a sprained ankle, he still referred the football match. Refereed the football match. Right. So that should be despite. Again, despite. Right. එහෙම වෙලා තියෙද්දි මොකද however කියලා ආයේ having කියන්නේ නැහැ සාමාන්‍යයෙන්. Right. I'll go for D. Yes, D. ඒක ඉතින් පුරුද්දත් එක්ක එන්න ඕන ටිකක්. හරි? ඇහිලා කනට. Right? What you hear is what you speak, right? What you read is what you write. Right? 5. The teacher had to choose. She would assign the students detention or just give her a warning. Right? The teacher had to choose because one of these, right? Not because, not until, maybe whether, moreover, but. ඕ තියෙනකොට යන්නේ whether නැත්නම් either. The teacher had to choose whether she would. I'll go for whether. මොකද අනිත් ඒවා දෙකෙන් එකක් වගේ එකක් නෑනේ නේද? I'll go for C. Yes, C. 6. Right, so this is the easy question if you know passive voice. Nitesh will not have changed the table cover. So this is a simple future. The table cover will not be changed by Nitesh. Will not have. Sorry, this is a present future perfect. The table cover will not have been changed by Nitesh. The table cover will not have been, because it's future perfect tense, won't have been changed by Nitesh. So I will go for C. Right. So don't use has. This has is only for simple present tense. When it comes to future, for singular also we use have. Okay, will have. We never say will has. Right. 6, I will go for C. Yes, C. Select the incorrect. Okay, just give me 1 minute. Right, select the incorrect pairs of active voice and passive voice. So first one must be active voice, second one must be passive voice. She signs, sings නෙමෙයි signs. Sorry, sign කරනවා. She signs beautifully. Yes, active voice. Beautiful songs are signed by her. But about this, I think this spelling mistake is there, right? Sign කියන්නේ sing නෙමෙයි. Sing කියන්නේ S-I-N-G නේද? මේ sign එකේ.
Yes, sir.
Yes, I think maybe the examiner has made a mistake, right? But anyway, this is active voice. But this must be then ED, signed. වැරද්දුවත් එක ED එන්න බෑ. So therefore, this is not a proper passive voice sentence because this is not past participle. Anyway, a lot of issues with that. They built a new house. New house was built past participle by them. So this is simple past tense. Sorry, build, built, right? Build. So therefore, this is past form. This is past participle. Right? A new house was built by them. So I think that I will take that. I will take that. New house was built by them. They are looking for incorrect. On incorrect way. The chef is preparing a delicious meal. Yes, chef is preparing a delicious meal. A delicious meal is being prepared. Correct, because this is present continuous. Is being prepared. Yes, prepared by chef. That is correct for me. He will write a letter. A letter will be written by him. Yes. A traffic policeman fined Taru for jumping the red light. A traffic policeman fined. Taru was fined. Right? ED. So incorrect then I will go for A and E. A and E. දැන් මේවා ෂුවර් නැති අය අනිවාර්යෙන් ඇක්ටිව් වොයිස් පැසිව් වොයිස් අර රෙකෝඩින්ග්ස් ටික බලන්න. රෙකෝඩින්ග්ස් තියෙනවා නෝට්ස් තියෙනවා ඔක්කොම. හරි? verbs වලින් ඉඳලාම හරි when to use simple form, then when to use past, when to use past participle. හරි? ඒවා semester 1 වලම කරා. Right, answer is A and E. Incorrect ones are A and E. Which of the following is which of the following is are incorrect regarding writing? The purpose of introduction is to give your reader a clear idea of what your writing will cover. The purpose of the introduction is to give your reader a clear idea of what you will write. Yes, right? So introduction is giving the overview, what you are give you the set the tone. The supporting ideas are usually stated in the introduction. Supporting ideas you don't need to give in the introduction, right? That is where you have the subsequent chapters. I'll say no. Introduction is to set the tone, give you the set the idea, right? Background. The conclusion will summarize or connect everything that is being said and give a final chance to lay out the main ideas before the reader. Yes, that is summarizing and winding up. Yes. It is not important to revise, edit, and proofread your writing before presenting to the reader. No, it is important, right? Not naming. With a proper outline, you will know how many paragraphs you have to present, what order you want to present them, and what you want to say in them. With a proper outline means structuring, right? How many paragraphs you want to present, what order. It looks okay, right? So that is what the outline is, right? Sort of a plan out. I say yes. Incorrect ඒවා අහන්නේ ඔන්න මේවා නම් වරද්ද ගන්න එපා. Incorrect. So therefore I'll go for B and D. Yes, B and D. මේක වරද්ද ගත්තොත් නිකන් අපරාධය. Incorrect correct කියලා. Which of the following is are correct regarding CV writing? Make sure the applicant's email address sounds professional. Yes. හරි. ඔය සමහරව ඔය වගේ වැඩ තියෙනවා. හරි email address එකක් දෙන්න ගම නේද? කිරි පුංචාරි නේද? මොනවා හරි දාලා තියෙන්නේ. හරි. ඒ වගේ ඒවා ප්‍රොෆෙෂනල් නෑ නේද? ඒවා දැක්කම මිනිස්සු බඩල්ලන් එනවා. මේ මොකෙද දැකෝ මේ කියලා. So ඔයාගේ නම හරි මොනවා හරි නේද? Initials, professional email. It can be Gmail, but it must be professional. Right. So make sure applicant's email address sound professional. That is super important. Include a salutation at the top of the CV. Do we need that? Dear sir, CV? No, right? You don't need that. That is needed for the cover letter. Mention a few words about company. No, company can no. You mention about you. Include no work experience. No, you need work experience if you have. So why don't you include no work experience? Include the name of the applicant's relations as referees. No, referees දානවනේ relations නැති අය දාන්න ඕන. හරි. Anyway, referees කියන්නේ එක්තරා විදිහක විහිළුවක් වෙනවා. හරි. That is why they ask you a LinkedIn profile where they can secretly get feedback from your co-workers, your teachers, and so on, right? That makes sense, right? But anyway, එහෙම හිතන්න ඕනේ නැහැ හිතන්නකෝ. හැබැයි relations දාන්න නැහැ නේද? අපි කියන්නේ non-related referees ලා. Right. So therefore, correct A. Only A. 10. Which of the following should you include when writing a cover letter? Religion's affiliation? No. Applicants interest in the job? Yes. So you need to show that you are interested, right? Family background? No. Photograph, maybe you can add it to your CV, but not to the cover letter, right? Salutation, yes, right? Because it's a letter. B and E. Yes, B and E. What are the characteristics of an active listener? Assert the opinions respectively. Assert the opinions respectively. Yes. හරි. අනිත් අයගේ මතවාද වලට respectively මේව කරන්න ඕනේ. එයාගේ මතයක් නේ. You can challenge it, but you must respect others' opinions. Involved in side conversations when listening in a group setting? No. Encourage the speaker to continue with small verbal comments like yes, yes, that is good. Ask questions to clarify certain points. Yes, if you need to clarify, you can ask. Interrupt the speaker with counter argument. No, don't interrupt. Maybe you can give counter arguments at the end when you are given the time. Right? So you can ask clarify questions, right? But not counter arguments. Counter arguments, if you are given a chance to do that at the end, maybe discussion or something. Right. So I'll go for A, C, and D. A, C, and D. Which of the following is an example of a small talk? Discussing the latest scientific discoveries. So I don't think that is a small talk idea, right? Discuss scientific discoveries. But in a way, sometimes it works also, right? I don't know. But if the other person is not interested in scientific things, that's the end of the story, right? So therefore, it's a little bit bad because not everyone is interested in science. I'll say no. Asking about someone's weekend plan. give කලිනුත් තියුණනේ හරි කියලා අරගෙන. එකෙන්ද අපි ගමු ඉතින් මම එච්චරම හොඳ නෑ නමුත් කලින් පේපර් එකත් ඔක අරන් තියුණානේ. Debating political, don't take politics into small talks, especially strangers. Sharing personal secrets, no. Asking about someone's favorite hobbies or no, that is fine, right? Hobbies, those are okay. I personally don't like B, but anyway, I think examiner has already taken that in another paper. I'll go for that. B and E. Yes, B and E. When engaging a professional phone call, which of the following is an essential aspects of effective communication? Utilizing active listening skills. Yes. Now, දැන් ඔයගොල්ලන්ට හිතෙන්න පුළුවන් කොහොමද phone call එකකදී active listening skills පේන්නේ නැහැ නේද කියලා. නෑ පේන්නේ නැතුනට ඇහෙනවනේ. You can say, you can ask questions. Yes, your body language they can't see, but active listening is not just that. Active listening is responding to the person, asking questions, right? And so those are also active listening. Interrupting the speaker to express opinions, no. Using technical, no. Keeping the conversation brief and concise, yes, because it's a professional call. Brief. Focusing on personal anecdotes to build rapport. Rapport කියන්නේ පොඩි connection එකක් නේ. But this is professional phone call, right? Professional phone call වල මේ personal anecdote කියන්නේ නිකන් විහිළු කතා වගේ දේවල්. හරි. යාළු friendship එකක් හදාගන්න. But that is not good. And that is not good in professional phone calls. Right? But some people do this, especially for marketing and other purposes, but I think that is not a very good thing to do, right? Professional people. I'll go for A and D. Yes, A and D. During job interview, which of the following needs are considered appropriate behaviors and preparation? Arrive late? No. Wearing a casual attire to showcase a personal style? No. Researching the company and position beforehand? Yes. Avoiding eye contact to reduce? No. Speaking negatively about the previous employee? No. Answer is C. When preparing for a public speaking engagement, which of the following these are recommended practices for effective delivery? Public speaking engagement. Reading the entire speech word for word from script? No. Then another repetitive questions. Speaking with lively and expressive voice to keep the audience? Yes. Maintaining a strong and confident posture? Yes. Avoiding any visual aids or supporting materials? No. So you can use visual aids like presentation if required, if it add value. Rushing through the speech? No. Right. So the good points are they're asking recommended things, B and C. B, C. Right. So then 16 to 25 passage. Okay, passage. So because we have some time, right? අපි passage එකක් කරුන් ටක් ගාලා. ඔක්කොම passage එකකින් තියෙන්නේ ඔස්නේ. Again read the questions. What is mean by conventionally in the first paragraph? Okay, conventionally. What has facilitated the transfer of AI to machine and other items? Which explains the definition of AI by these particular people? Whose definition of AI contains the idea that AI has the capacity to imitate human thinking, right? This look easier questions. As mentioned in paragraph 3, what are the human-like functions that the AI processes? Which statement is a false? Which statement summarize the sentence in bold in paragraph 3? Which of the following properly paraphrases the sentences in bold paragraph 4? Paraphrases means you put it into your own words. Same thing, right? Paraphrases. Then takala kiyu එක පාරක්. This is easy because this is from your IT field, right? So therefore you must be familiar with these words. AI is conventionally heavily associated with computers. However, it is evident from a review from various articles, particularly within the context of the education sector, that while computers may have formed the basis for development of artificial intelligence, there is a gravitation away from computer alone. So that means the AI is going to use more than computers. Computer alone, the hardware and software, anyway, those are part of the computers or the equipments as being artificial intelligence. Okay, I don't know what is mean by that. Hardware and software is also computer, right? I don't know what is that. Embedded computers, or maybe these are the new things. Embedded computers, sensors, and other emerging technologies have facilitated the transfer of AI to machines and other items. You can see it's beyond computer, hardware, software, right? Embedded computers, sensors, and other emerging technologies are also going to be used in AI. Such as building a robots. Indeed, I don't know, this is some person's name. Etel means others, right? In referencing, you say ETEAL means that guy and others. In a research paper, usually maybe set of people have involved. So this is the first person and the rest of the team members. provides a two-phase what is this two-phased I don't know two-phased definition and description of AI. They define AI as field and theory as a field of study and define AI as a study area in computer science whose pursuits are aimed at solving different cognitive problems commonly associated with human intelligence, such as learning, problem solving, and pattern recognition, and subsequently adapting. As a theory, you can see as a field of study and theory, right? So this is as a field of study. This is as a theory. This again name. I mean, මේ පිරිස. Define AI as සමහර මේවට බය වෙනවා. හරි මේ මිනිසුන්ගේ නම්ම AI as a theoretical framework guiding the development and use of computer system with the capabilities of human beings. More particularly, intelligence and the ability to perform tasks that require human intelligence, including visual perception, speech recognition, decision making, translation between languages. Other scholars and other studies, the definition of AI definition definition of AI provided brings to the four near similar elements or characteristic of AI. This is another person and set of people define AI as machine that have the ability to approximate human reasoning. Similarly, so another people with a definition and description oriented to education sector observed that AI as a result of many decades of research and development bringing together system designers, data scientists, product designers, statisticians, linguists, cognitive scientists, psychologists, education experts and blah blah blah. මම මතකද පළවෙනි දවසේම කිව්වා ඉංග්‍රීසියම දැන් පටන් ගන්න සිංහල අමතක කරන්න. හරි? chat GPT එකෙන් පුළුවන් තරම් chat GPT එක කතා කරන්න. හරි? සිංහල නිවුස් පේපර්ස් බලන එක නවත්තන්න. BBC යන්න, CNN යන්න, ඉන්ටර්නෙට් යන්න, YouTube එකේ ඉංග්‍රීසියෙන් රෙකෝඩින්ග්ස් මේ ඉංග්‍රීසියෙන් ස්ටඩි කරන්න. දැන් ඒගොල්ලන්ට මේක පිටතර බලක් නැහැ. මොකද නැත්නම් අන්තිමට ඉන්ටර්විව් එකට යන්න බෑ. ඉන්ටර්විව් එකට ගිහිල්ලා ඉවරලා මල්ටිනේෂනල් කම්පැනි එක ලංකාවේ සොෆ්ට්වෙයාර් ඉන්ඩස්ට්‍රීස් වලින් වැඩි හරියක අයිතිකාරයෝ නේද ඇමරිකාවේ නෝර්ත් වෙස්ටර්න් රටවල්. හරි. ඒවා ඔක්කොම ඉන්ටර්විව් කරන්නේ ඉංග්‍රීසි වලින්. ඔයාලට වැඩ කරන්න වෙන්නේ වෙස්ටර්න් කන්ට්‍රීස් වල ප්‍රොජෙක්ට්ස් වල. හරි. ඒ ඔපචුනිටි හම්බ වෙන්නේ නැහැ. රට යන්න තියෙන chance එකක් හම්බ වෙන්නේ නැහැ. සිංහලෙන් නේද? දන්න සිංහලෙන් ඉගෙන ගන්න ගියොත් එහෙම. දන්න සිංහලෙන් මැරලා යන්න වෙන්නේ BIT ඩිග්‍රී එකත් ඔළුවේ තියාගෙන. දැන් මේක හයියෙන් හයියෙන් කියව ගන්න පුළුවන් වෙනවා. Right. Perform different functions including help teachers and support learners to develop their knowledge and flexible skills for a constantly changing world. The author, I don't know what is this, posited. මම කිව්වේ අමාරු වචන දාන්න ඒකල වැඩි පාවිච්චි කරන්නේ නැති වචන. නොදන්න වචන වලට මම එච්චර වරි වෙන්නේ නැහැ. හරි මට I can get the big picture. That is enough. That AI users improved capabilities of programs and software such as දැන් මේකට වැඩි අමාරු 20 23 පේපර් එකේ තියෙන වචන සෙට් එක හරි such as algorithm දැන් මේක අපි දන්න ෆීල්ඩ් එකක් නේ AI නේ අරක තියෙන වෙන මොකක්ද උඩපටයක් කියලා such as algorithmic machine learning which provides the machines with ability to perform different tasks that require human like intelligence blah 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 මේක නම් කියවන්න නැතුව කෙලිම ක්වෙස්චන් කරන එක කොහොමදයි වගේ නේද එහෙනම් පතරංග හැලක් අපි ක්වෙස්චන් ටිකට බයිමුද දැන් පොඩි අයිඩියා එකක් තියෙනවනේ මේ එක එක්කෙනා AI ගැන තියෙන මත කියන්නේ එක එක රිසර්ච් පේපර් වල right what is mean by conventionally in the first paragraph conventional artificial intelligence is conventionally heavily associated with computers so convention කියන්නේ මොකද්ද සාම්ප්‍රදායිකව right right දැන් බලන්න හොඳම උත්තරේ මේකෙත් කියලා දෙනවා එක උත්තරේ හරි කියලා නෑනේ read the expert no that means multiple answers are possible right culturally no, conventionally doesn't mean culturally. ඒ සංස්කෘතිකව, right? Traditionally yes, conventionally කියන්නේ සාම්ප්‍රදායිකව, right? Not culturally, but yes, traditionally. Generally, right? Conventionally කියන්නේ generally කියන එකම නම් නෙමෙයි. හැබැයි මට මතක විදිහට මේක උත්තරයක් වගේ අරන් තිබුණේ. Not extremely, not conveniently. Conveniently කියන්නේ පහසුවට. right? Generally කියන එක එච්චර හොඳ උත්තරයක් නෙමෙයි. මම හිතන්නේ මම උදේ කොහෙද පේපර් එක බැලුවා. මට මතක විදිහට මේක උත්තරයක් විදිහට අරන් තිබුණා. Yeah. That is debatable if so. බලන්න උත්තරයක් විදිහට අරන් තිබුණා නේද? Yes. right? Traditionally කියන එක තමයි මට නම් ඔළුවට එන්නේ. හරි. Generally කියන එක එච්චරම හොඳද මන් දන්නේ නැහැ. හරි. But anyway, multiple answers possible on the examiner. Right. What has facilitated the transfer of AI to machines and other items? Right. What has facilitated transfer of AI to machines and other items? ටක් කළා යන්න බලන්න. පොඩි අයිඩියා එකක් තියෙනවනේ. මෙන්න මේක හරි වෙන්නේ. While computers may have formed the basis for the development of artificial intelligence, there is a gravitation away from it. කියන්නේ අනිත් පැත්ත වෙන ඒවට යනවා. From the computers alone, the hardware and software, or the equipment as being artificial intelligence. Embedded computers, sensors, and other emerging technologies have facilitated the transfer of AI to machines and other items. So, මොකද්ද මේකට facilitate කරන්නේ? Embedded computers, sensors, and other emerging technologies. බලන්න එහෙම උත්තර තියෙනවද කියලා? Yeah, E නේ. Right. So I'll go for E. Yes, E. කෙලිම note එකේ ඔයාගේ paragraph එකේ තියුණා. Right. Which explain the definition of AI by this guy. බලන්න මේකගේ නමවත් කියව ගන්න බෑ. චැසිගනල්ද මොකෙද්ද එකේ. චැසින් නෝල්. බලන්න එයා මොනවද කියලා තියෙන්නේ. This guy. Indeed, this guy at L, ඒ කියන්නේ එයා සහ එයාගේ කණ්ඩායම provides a two-factored, I don't definition and description of AI. They define AI as a field and theory. So they define it in two ways, as a field and theory. A field of study, they define AI as a study area in computer science, blah, blah, blah. Learning, problem solving, blah, blah, blah. And as a theory, main name tamai, define AI as theoretical framework guiding the development and use of computer systems with capabilities of human beings, more particularly intelligence and the ability to perform tasks that require human intelligence. Okay. බලන්න ඒ වගේ උත්තරයක් තියෙනවද කියලා. AI is basically a theory. No, theory and අනිත් එක මම දැන් මතකත් නැහැ. Theory and field. Theory and field. AI guides the development and usage of computers as human beings. AI is a theoretical construct to develop and use computers that can think and solve problems like humans do. AI is a theoretical concept to facilitate decision making and translate between languages. AI is mere theory. මේක නම් වෙන්න බෑ වගේ. මේ දෙක නම් වෙන්න බෑ. මෙන්න මේ තුනෙන් හොඳ මේක බලා ගන්න අතන තියෙන වාක්‍යයත් එක්ක යන්න. මට දෙකපාරට ඔළුවට එන්නේ නැහැ. right? ආයෙ අරකට එක බලලා ඔතනින් වැඩියෙන්ම ළඟ ඒ නෝට් එකේ තියෙන එකට ළඟින්ම යන උත්තරේ හොයාගන්න. හරි? right. ඒක ටයිම් එක අරන් කරන්න මට එකපාරට දැන් මේ වෙලාවේ කරන්න ගියොත් ඊළඟ ප්‍රශ්න කරන්න බැරි වෙනවා. හරි? right. උත්තරේ ඔයගොල්ලෝ ඩබල් චෙක් කරගන්න. Whose definition of AI contains the idea that AI has the capacity to imitate human thinking. So that should be very easy. ඕක කෙලින්ම තියෙනෝනේ. Imitate human thinking කියලා තියුනේ කවුද? හරි lazy question තියෙන්නේ. දැන් මට නම් imitate කියලා search කරන්න පුළුවන් නමුත් එයාට search කරන්න බෑ. හදිස්සියෙන් මම මේ සුපාගෙන යන්නේ. That is a mimic human cognition. Mimic කියන්නේ වෙයි imitate තමයි. හැබැයි ආයෙ බලන්න question එක මත තියෙන කියලා. imitate human thinking processes and behaviors බලන්න එහෙම එකක් තියෙනවද කියලා.
So what is the meaning of imitating?
imitate කියන්නේ අපි imitation කියන්නේ මොනවද? imitation බඩු කියන්නේ කොපි කරලා ගහපුවා නේ. imitate කරනවා කියන්නේ තව කෙනෙක්ව කොපි කරනවා. නැත්නම් එයා වගේ හැසිරෙනවා. يعني human thinking වගේ AI වලට හැසිරෙන්න පුළුවන් නේද? ඒක තමයි imitate කරනවා කියන්නේ. AI හදලා තියෙන්නේ කොහොමද අපි නියුරෝන් අපි හිතන විදිය බලලා තමයි දැන් ඩෙවලොප් කරලා තින්නේ. ඒක අපි අපේ මොලේ තියෙන නියුරෝන් ස්ට්‍රක්චර් එක ගැන කල්පනා කරලා තමයි AI කියන concept එක build කරේ. process කරන්නේ දැන්. ඒක සයන්ස් සාර්ථකයි දැන්. imitate කරන්න. මේක කොයි තියෙන නෝට තමයි මම ගන්නේ. search එකක් දාමුද මට වෙලා යනවා හරියට.
So what is 18th answer?
18th answer C. C. Okay. Right. So human-like functions like capacity to imitate human thinking. Right? Human thinking. මම search එකක් දාන මට හදිස්සි ඉක්මනට හොයා ගන්න ඕන අන්ත හරි. thinking කියලා තියෙනවා බලන්න. නෑ එහෙම එකපාර නෑ. behaviors ඒ වචන කෙලින්ම නෑ. ඒ කියන්නේ ඒක ළඟින් යන එකක් පාට හොයා ගන්න නතරින්නේ. imitate human thing අර mimicking කියලා තිබුණේ ඒක වෙන්නේ සමහරවිට. approximate human reasoning එක එක නෑ එක එක වගේ තියෙනවා ඒක නෙවෙයි.
Second paragraph at last.
At last. Ability to computers and machines to, yeah, I think this is mimic means usually imitate. Right? I think yes. So mimic is another word for imitate. So then maybe, but they have actually they have changed it also. Rather than thinking, they have used the human cognition and actions. Yeah, maybe because this word mimic is pretty much same as imitate. So then who is that guy? Wartman. Wartman. Let's see whether we have that answer. Yeah, so then it must be C. Let's see whether C is correct. 19. Yes, 19 answer is C. Okay. Right, 20. As mentioned in paragraph 3, then make a lazy in paragraph 3. What are the human-like functions that artificial intelligence possesses? Okay, let's see paragraph 3. Artificial intelligence from these definitions and descriptions encompasses the development of machines that have some level of intelligence with the ability to perform human-like functions including cognitive, learning, decision-making, adapting to the environment. Okay. Right, those are the things. Cognitive, learning, decision-making, adapting to the environment. ඔක්කොම එක වගේ තියෙනවා නේද? Creativity කතාවක් තියුන්නේ නැහැනේ. Not cognitive නෑ. Cognition, learning, decision making, adapting. මේ මොකද? cogniting මේක වැරදින්නේ. cogniting කියලා ගන්න නැහැනේ. Cognition. So therefore this is also not correct. Cognition, learning, this is leaning. මේ අකුරු තරද්දනවා මෙයා. This is leaning, not leaning, right? Learning. Cognition, learning, decision making, and ability to adapt. So the answer is D. මේ බලන්න අකුරු අරද්දලා තියෙන්නේ හරි leaning. මෙතන coughing ද මොකක්ද එකක්. හරි. Answer must be D. Yes, answer is D. The past papers කරනකොට අර අහුවෙනවා exam එක මොනවාද මේ දාන සෙල් නම් ටික කියලා. හරි. ඒකයි past papers කරන්න කියන්නේ. Right. 21. Which statement is or false? අපෝ පත හැල්ලක් තියෙනවා එක එක අරන් බලන්න. මොකද ඔය එක එක තැන් වලින් අහලා ඇත්තා. So that you need to do by yourself. මේක නම් ලේසි ඇති. Paragraph 3. Which statement summarize the sentence in bold in paragraph 3? Paragraph 3 bold sentence. අප්පා දිගයිනේ. Intelligence of machines' ability to demonstrate some level of intelligence and perform a wide range of functions and capabilities that require human-like abilities come out as a key characteristic of AI from definitions and discussions of AI. Intelligence or machine ability to demonstrate some level of intelligence and perform wide range of functions and capabilities that require human-like abilities come out as a key characteristic of AI from definitions and discussions of AI. So the important things are something like perform a wide range of functions and capabilities that require human-like abilities. ඔන්න ඒ කතන්දරේ තියෙනවා. AI is a machine's ability to perform human-like functions and capabilities. AI is machines that cannot demonstrate. No, that is wrong, right? Cannot demonstrate intelligence. අඩුකනේ වැරදි උත්තර අයින් කරන්නකෝ. AI is a machines that can demonstrate intelligence and perform range of functions and capabilities that doesn't require human. No, that is wrong. Because it said doesn't require. AI is a human's ability to perform. No, not human's ability. Right? Not human's ability to perform machine-like function. It's other way. AI is a machine that can hardly demonstrate intelligence and perform human. No, that is wrong, right? So then definitely it must be A. මේ උත්තර වැරදිද මොකක්ද? Right. 22. Yes, A. Right. A. Which of the following properly paraphrases the sentence bold in paragraph 4? Paragraph 4 එකේ තියෙන එක. ඒක ඔයගොල්ලෝ කරන්න. Right. 24. Which of the following sentence? Okay, ඒකත් වෙන වෙනම බලන්න මොකද ඔයත් හතර අතේ. The most appropriate title for the excerpt: Computers and AI, Nature of AI, Humans and AI, Machines and AI, Computers, Machines and AI. ඒක නම් මම මුළු පැරග්‍රාෆ් එකම කියුවේ නැති හන්ද කියන්න අමාරුයි මට තාම. හරි. හැබැයි AI ගැන තමයි කියන්නේ humans ලත් එක්ක compare කරනවා හැබැයි. Right? They try to define what is AI. What is AI? So different people's definitions. Right? So මොන වගේ එකක්ද හොඳ? Try to figure out. Computers and AI, I don't think. Nature of AI may be good, but most appropriate. Humans and AI, machines and AI, computers, machines and AI. එතනක humans ලා ගැන කියන්නේ නේ. So they try to discuss the nature of AI, right? ඒකනේ ඔක්කොම එක වගේ, right? Humans and AI කියලා කියන්න ඕනේ නෑනේ. Anyway, මට හිතා ගන්න බෑ මම ඒකන්ද ඒ වලට යන්නම් ඉතින්. What is the answer? Answer is B. Nature of AI. I think yes, right? Nature of AI is I think the best. Right? General answer. AI වල nature එක. Right? ලක්ෂණ. I think yes, it's fair. The best one is B. Okay. Right. You can see. So remember your pass mark is 40. Right? 40 out of 100 means 100න් 25න් කීයක් හරියන්න ඕන? 140 නම් 25ට. 10ක් හරියන්න ඕන. 25න් 10ක් හරි ගියොත් pass. 10ක් හරි 11ක් හරි. Because pass mark is 40 and you don't get ABC for this, right? So try to get more than 10 correct. 10ක් හදාගන්න එක අමාරු නෑ. The multiple answers තියෙනවාද සමහරවිට full marks එන්නේ නැහැ. Negative වලින් කැපෙන්න දෙන්න එපා වැඩි ලකුණු. හරි? And also make sure that you have enough time to for the last questions. මොකද මේවා lazy ඇත්තටම නමුත් වෙලා යනවා. හරි? So therefore try to do first 10-15 questions very fast so that you have enough, maybe another half an hour for the passage. Okay? Passage. And also if you have time, again revisit and double check your answers. Okay? So because this is 1 hour paper, right? 1 hour paper. And again I am telling you, if you fail this subject, ඔයගොල්ලෝ pressurize කරනවා නෙමෙයි, මේක සමහරු ගණන් ගන්න නැතුව යනවා. හරි? ඉස්සර semester 1 maths උත් ගණන් ගන්න නැතුව යනවා. අයියෝ මොකද්ද ඕක මේ enhancement subject එකක් grade එකක්වත් දෙන්නේ නැහැ. හරි? grade එකක්වත් දෙන්නේ නැතුනට level 2 යන්න දෙන්නේ නැහැ fail නොත්. හරි? ඒකත් මතක තියාගන්න. Right, we stop at this point, right? So you have tomorrow also you have sessions, right? Tomorrow 2 sessions and Sunday 2 sessions, okay? And we stop at this point.